I believe the core philosophy is expanding yourself to the highest form, you know, expanding yourself to become the very thing that you feel like you were never going to be. Because philosophy criticizes your belief systems. Philosophy criticizes everything that you believe, uh, exists, in fact. And the reason I like philosophy and the reason I read more philosophical books, every single day it does something to me. Little by little, it impacts me to keep on moving, to find reason to keep on moving, around this world. It is not easy to maneuver through this world without some belief. Like at some point, there must be something that you believe so you can have reason to wake up, so you can have the reason to achieve something, so you can have the reason to have a goal that you want to see, see yourself mounted to. That's why I like philosophy, because philosophy makes me want to see more of myself, makes me want to see the eternal me as opposed to the external me, because now I am forced to live into this. I'm forced to live under the impression of myself, and when I say I'm forced, I don't mean I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean it in a way that people or someone is forcing me to do these things. I'm saying it in a sense of I live this way because I have found reason to create. I have found reason to expand. I have found reason to build, to be more, such things. I force myself into these things. I feel like the universe also forced me to become this very thing that I was avoiding. And it's funny how, it's funny how life can take a deep, just a huge turn. Like I never liked reading books. It wasn't something that I considered a hobby for me, and I was one of those people who would say, if you read a book, you're just being performative. But something all over the years just changed. I just wanted to pick up a book and read, but not any just book, not just any book. I specifically went for philosophy, for literature and all such. I specifically went there, and I find myself there. I find more of myself there. I expand every single day because of those books. I grow, I evolve, I become the very thing that I assumed I would never be because of these books. And I don't think I have taken enough time to appreciate where I am and how the things are going and how I have grown to become what I am today. Because I feel like majority of us, we are so caught up in wanting and desiring, but we forget the journey that we went through. We forget the fun and the experience and the pain and the suffering that we went through. And What's most interesting about life is the parts that are forgettable about them. You know, the interesting part of life are the moments that are forgettable. That's where you'd find most of your answers. I believe that's where you'll find most of your answers. Because the answer has been right under your nose, It's just we choose to forget the pain and the suffering, all the traumas that we went through. And we forget that pain and trauma, they are the ones that shape us. They are the ones that change us to become what we are today. And the reason they are inevitable is because change itself, it's inevitable. Change will always be there no matter what. We'll constantly grow, we'll constantly evolve, irregardless of how you feel about it, irregardless of your perspective about it. We will simply change and we'll simply evolve. And the moments of change and evolution happen on those forgettable moments, on those moments where we want to forget, on the traumatic experiences, on the pain that we've went through, on the suffering that we went through as human beings. But that's where we find most of ourselves. That's where we find the real authentic you. Because it isn't like the snake doesn't feel pain when it sheds off its skin. It feels a lot of pain, it feels a lot amount of pain, but it has to go through that because seasons change and it has to also change, its colors and its shade. The tree, we simply cannot feel what a tree feels, but I'll make an analogy to say maybe during winter a tree feels a lot of pain when it loses its leaves bit by bit. And that's what comes with change. We lose people, you lose people that you thought you were close to, you lose people that you used to admire, you lose people that inspired you to do certain things. But it all comes with change. It all comes with the new you. And that's how I became to be also. I didn't like books, and so all of a sudden a change hit me, Something just hit me. I just got bored of watching movies. I got bored of listening to music. I got bored of everything. And where I live, there's a shelf full of books, and I stumbled upon a single book that made me question myself, that made me question my beliefs. And that right there, it hit me deep to the core of my soul to question and to critique myself, to say, what do beliefs mean to you? What do you seek as a person? Why do you seek to be understood by the external world? Because early on I could say I used to believe certain things because of how I wanted to be seen by the world, or how I wanted to be perceived by the world. But that one book, and I forgot the name. But that one book hit me to the core. It hit me to the wall. It pinned me against the wall, and it said to me, does whatever you believe make you who you are based on how people see you? And from that point on, I've been trying to find an answer as to what is it that I truly believe in? Who am I? Where am I going? Do I have a purpose? Does it matter to have a purpose? Does it matter to have a belief system? And that change right there made me the very person who I am today, because I lost a lot of faith in humanity. I lost a lot of faith in myself. I was confused, and that was suffering for me, because the most painful thing a human being can go through is through loss and confusion. That moment right there, when it captures you for that particular moment, you get so lost you don't even know where you are. You cannot wrap your head around who I am and where I'm going. You get what I'm saying? So it pit me against the wall. It made me question, who am I really? Where am I going? Do my beliefs serve me, serve the purpose that I want to achieve? What is my purpose? Is it important to have a purpose? Who said you must have a purpose? Who said you must be morally good or morally bad? It questioned the core of my soul. And I went through the moments of confusion. I went through the moments of questioning, why am I here? And I found out that when human beings go through the moment of not knowing their purpose, they find every reason to exit this world. Those moments that I wanted to forget, I kept them because they were the most interesting part about the universe, about the human being, about the world, about everything that is here. Those were the most important parts about a human being. Those were the most important parts to learn from the universe. And I understood from that point that when a human being doesn't have a purpose, they find every reason to exit this world. And I simply, because now I also went through the same thing, not that I wanted to exit the world, but I went through the same thing of confusion, and then I wanted to understand why purpose really exists. And I understood that purpose is the only thing that makes you get up, that makes you go, that makes you want to go to work, that makes you want to put bread on top of the table. And from that point on, I understood that every single human being in this world, they created a delusional purpose, so they have every reason to wake up, so they have every reason to make their family happy, so they have every reason to make themselves happy, so they have every reason to make the universe expand by the end of the day. Because everything that we do, the purpose that you think you were given by God gave you that purpose. The universe gave you that purpose. Whatever deity that you serve gave you that purpose to expand the universe further and further and further. And that is why today we have so many inventions. That is why today we are learning so many things. We have different studies of different diverse things. And there is more to learn. There is more to learn from what a human being is to what the world is to what an animal is to what a bacteria is and a cell is, and how the system of a human being is. There is more to learn, and the more we learn, the more the universe starts to expand over and over and over and over. And that's what we'd call the Big Bang, because when an idea sparks, it causes its own bubble to expand. So you have every reason to be here. should do is to ground yourself and remember why you're doing it.